Hello people and welcome back to the channel. I'm back. I've got a new microphone. I'm so excited. So there is going to be no more bad sound quality from me. Today's video we are going to be testing a tactic. It's tweaked. It was created by StephanHK, but then I tweaked it. It's all around FM based, but also the original link will be in the description below. It's a 4-3-3, but there's two variations of it, so I'm spoiling you guys. There's a 4-3-3 with two wingers. There's also a 4-3-3 with three strikers, and the tactic was tested with two teams. One with Real Sociedad, but also in the national non-league. Now a lot of people like to say, well, why don't you test it in the non-league if the tactic is that great? So I've got a tactic for you guys, or those guys that like those non-league tactics as well. But before we get stuck into things, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like the video, also leave a comment. All of that's going to help the channel grow, but it also allows me to create better content as the channel grows. In this video we're going to walk through the tactic, we're going to have a look at the results, and at the end of the video you guys can have a look at some of the highlights as well. Also, training is very important. I did implement my own training into this as well, so that is going to be very, very important. But for now, let's get stuck into this video. So if any of you guys want to know where I got the tactic from, FM Base is where I got the tactic from. StephanHK is what the thread is called. But of course, there's also an original link to it. Well, there's an original to the original, and it's in a language that I obviously cannot understand. But we can see here the FM22 Shaolin 433 version 2 is the tactic that we downloaded and then tweaked. And here is the FM Base version. Both links will be in the description below. Now the 433 with three strikers up top works very, very well. I've already done a video on it, but I also use this tactic in my gank save. Some of you follow it on Twitter, where I post a lot of my updates on Twitter. I also use a 4-3-3 in that save as well, but they're all different. They are all different. Today's one is all about StephanHK's that I've tweaked. So now let's look at the tactic and get into the results. So here we are. Here is the 4-3-3. Well, this is the one with the two wingers. Here is the one with the three strikers. And as you can see, the team instructions are identical. And now here is the original, the FM22 Shaolin 4-3-3 version 2. That is a long name. That is a long name. But this was created by StephanHK. You can see the team instructions here. A lot of the stuff has been removed. So like pass into space, the underlaps, be more expressive, all has been removed. And the biggest change is the mentality. Now we are playing with a cautious mentality. So the 4-3-3, the two wingers, was tested with Real Sociedad. The 4-3-3 with three strikers, and the 4-3-3 with three strikers was tested with non-league Stockport County. So we're going to go through the team instructions, the player instructions, of course, of both tactics. But like I said, this one is basically identical apart from two changes. But let's get stuck into it. We are going to be using a cautious mentality. So we are going to get plays further forward, but at the risk-free moments. The attacking width is set to standard, so neither fairly wide or neither is it fairly narrow. For the approach play, we are going to be playing out from the defense. So what you will notice, when the goalkeeper has the ball, all your central defenders, your anchor man will drop, but also will both of your central midfielders, but they might not drop at the same angle, at the same line. It can be slightly staggered, so the left sided central midfielder, for an example, can be further higher, which creates a stagger, which is a good thing because that adds depth into your formation. Now for the passing directness, we are using the shorter passing, so we're looking to maintain the possession, not necessarily retain it, and for the tempo, it's set to higher, so we're looking to get the ball from defense to attack in a quicker fashion. In the final third, we are going to be sending in low crosses, but also shoot on sight. Now what this means, that your players aren't going to shoot whenever they have the ball. Whenever they are around the ball, they're not just going to shoot, but what you are doing is increasing the tendency to shoot when the opportunity is on. So you're not telling your players to shoot at any cost, you're increasing the tendency to shoot when the opportunity is on. And for the dribbling, we are going to be running at the defense. Now in transition, when the possession has been lost, we will counter press, trying to pressurize the opponents right away, and when the possession has been won, we will be making our counter attacking movements, getting players further forward. When the goalkeeper is in possession, he will look to distribute the ball quickly and look for the flanks as well, which is fairly new. I don't believe I've ever used that instruction in FM22 so far. Now out of possession, possession, we are using a much higher line of engagement, a higher defensive line. The defensive width is set to standard. We are used to it being forced to opposition on the outside, but today we are using standard. The trigger press is set to much more often, and we are preventing that short goalkeeper distribution. Now for the player roles, which is of course very important. In goal, we do have a sweeper keeper under attacking duty. He's going to be tackling harder. In central defense, one of them will be a ball playing defender on the cover duty. He's going to be dribbling less and tackling harder, whilst his defensive partner is just on the defensive duty. Again, he's going to be dribbling less and tackling harder. Both fullbacks are fullbacks under attack. They too have identical instructions, taking more risk, dribbling more, running wide with the ball, shooting less often and tackling harder. The single pivot, the defensive midfielder, he's the anchor man. Again, I believe this is new for me. I don't believe I've ever used the anchor man role, but he's going to be tackling harder and marking tighter. In central midfield, we do have two central midfielders on attack, identical instructions again, taking more risk, dribbling more often, shooting less often, moving into the channels, tackling harder and marking tighter. Now for the flanks, we're using two inside forwards. Both of them will be sitting more narrow, and up top we do have the false nine. He's going to be tackling harder. In the 4-3-3, everything is identical apart from, of course, the two wingers, because we're no longer using two wingers. We now have two advanced forwards, both of them under attack, but they don't have any added instructions. But that there is both of the tactics. Both of the tactics are now wrapped up. We can look at some of the results with Real Sociedad before looking at the results with Stockport County, looking at the training, and then ending the video with the highlights. So now let's look at the results with Real Sociedad. For the competitions in La Liga, Real Sociedad topped the table. They played 38, they won 28, they drew 8 and they lost 2. Majority of those, well, I was going to say the majority of those games were away from home, but it looks like it's mixed. And the two losses, away to Valencia and away to Real Madrid, which were both heavy defeats, but we get away with it. It's only 2 losses throughout the whole season. The points tally is on 92 points. In the Europa League, we got knocked out in the quarter-final by West Ham. In the Copa del Rey, we got knocked out in the 5th round by FC Barcelona. Now looking at some of the stats, Real Sociedad, of course, ended the season with the most points per game. We also scored the most goals with 93. We had the most shots for, we had the fewest shots against. It looks like we were the best team in the league. Of course we were. For the best pass completion, we finished 8th on 89%. For the most possession, we finished 6th with 53%. Most tackles won, we're in 8th place with 590. We completed the most dribbles. When it comes to most clean sheets, we're in joint first actually with Real Madrid. And for the fewest conceded, we're in 3rd place with 52 or 32 even conceded. For the top goal scorer, Mikel Oyarzabal with 24 goals, Alexander Isak with 17. For the most assists, Adnan Januzaj with 15 assists, David Silva with 9. Our striker with the most shots for, Mikel Oyarzabal in 6th place. For the most man of the match awards, Adnan Januzaj comes in 2nd, but he also played the most key passes. Looking at the dribbles made, Nacho Monreal and Grosabel, so both fullbacks complete a lot of dribbles. For the most clean sheets, Alex Romero in 2nd place, and for the fewest conceded, Alex Romero in joint 6. Now looking at the data hub and looking at the team's attacking performance, we scored 2.45 goals per game. We had an expected goals per game of 2.18, 19.13 shots per game, and 43.19% of those shots on target. We completed 89% of our passes and completed 28% of our crosses, both of them outperforming the average in La Liga. Now looking at the defensive stats, the clearances per game only on 30.66, but that can be a good indication, and that could mean that we aren't necessarily defending a lot during the 90 minutes. But for the conceded per game, we have a very good record of 0.84. For the expected goals against per game, again it's very good at 0.76. For the tackles attempted per game, 19.58, and for the tackles won ratio, we are winning 79% of those tackles. But that's the Real Sociedad results. Now let's look at Stockport County, where we used the 4-3-3 with 3 strikers. Now for Stockport County, as you can see, we played 44 games, a goal difference of plus 91, but the points tally on 109. We absolutely blitzed the Vanarama National League. Looking at the table, we played 44 games, we won 36 of those, drawing 1, losing 7. Majority of those games lost were away from home, only 2 of them were at home. Looking at the Emirates FA Cup, we got knocked out in the 2nd round by Sheffield Wednesday, who were are a championship side, I believe, and in the Builder-based FA Trophy, well, we won that being Aldershot Town in the final 4-0, and Aldershot Town are in the playoffs as well. They finished third. Looking at the stats, some of these are going to be similar, but some of them might be different as well because it is a different shape. Looking at the points per game, 2.48. Now that's very similar. Looking at the most goals, we scored 124 goals. So maybe we scored more goals per game with Stockport County. We had the most shots for, we had the fewest shots against. For the best pass completion, we finished 4th this time with 88%, and we also had the highest possession in the league with 56%. Now that's a big difference compared to Real Sociedad. Most tackles won, we are in 4th place. For the most dribbles made, Stockport County, so that's the same basically. Most clean sheets, Stockport County, and the fewest conceded, Stockport County. We basically dominated this league. Now looking at the player stats, you can see Paddy Madden with 27 goals, Alex Reid with 25 goals, both of them in the top 8 for the most goals in the league. Looking at the most assists, John Rooney and Macaulay Southam-Hells. John Rooney with 25 assists. Most man of the match awards, John Rooney again, but Macaulay Southam-Hells also in the top 8. Most key passes, John Rooney. Oh well, these two players were absolutely fantastic. Macaulay Southam-Hells is a right back. He played right back, but he's currently injured as well, which is not good, of course. And we also had, who is the other person? John Rooney. He's also playing very well, and he looks like the anchorman. It looks like he's been playing anchorman, which is fairly surprising. Most tackles won, we do have Zeki Friars. For the most dribbles made, we have Macaulay Southam-Hells and Zeki Friars. So again, very, very similar to the Real Sociedad, where we have both fullbacks in the top 8 for dribbles made. For the most clean sheets, our goalkeeper in 2nd place, and for the fewest conceded, our goalkeeper again in 2nd place. Now we can look at something different than we did in the data hub with Real Sociedad. Looking at the attacking efficiency, we can see that we were aggressive and clinical. Stockport County, yay. For the defensive efficiency, we were quiet and impenetrable. The opposition's conversion rate was just below 9%, which is of course fairly decent. It's better than the average in the league. And looking at the defending stats, we made fewer blocks and fewer clearances. This again can indicate that we defended little during the 90 minutes. And again, we can look at the shooting, which is literally the exact same as the attacking efficiency. I don't know why I brought this up, but we were aggressive and clinical in our shooting. So we can look at the player stats in all competitions at Stockport County, where you can see Paddy Madden scored 36 goals. Alex Reid, the false 9, he scored 32 goals. Scott Quigley scored 19. Anthony Saravich, I don't know, he scored 17 goals. With Will Fish, the central defender, 19 years of age by the way, he scored 12. Looking at the assists, John Rooney with 27 assists in all competitions. Southam-Hells with 21. Anthony Sarcevic, he got 14 assists, so did Paddy Madden. Alex Reid got 10. Now, I do have a training video already out, so you better watch that to get a better idea at the training. Again, I will link it down below. But you can see when we had 1 match during the week, this is what I used. When we had 2 matches during the week, this is what I used. And when there was an international break, this is what I used. But unfortunately, that wraps up this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy my new mic. I hope I sound better as well. And if you are new or you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like this video, leave a comment. Shout out to my Patreons. You guys mean a lot. Thank you guys. I hope I'll see you soon, and peace out.